Hello, beautiful people. Hey, look, before I start this session, I have a big announcement to make. And, the documentary that's been in the works for a long time about my son Eric's life, it's almost finished. But in order to get to that finish line, the director producer Paula Marino needs some help. So she needs funds to cover all the professional fees that will be involved to bring the story to the screen, like a professional story editor, a music composer, a sound mixer, an illustrator, animator, etc., etc. Now, Paula created a crowdfunding page where you can donate whatever you feel comfortable donating. You can also donate by purchasing a 30-minute session with one of our mediums, or by purchasing an item from the Erik merchandise store, like the one I'm wearing. Saving the world one prank at a time. It's an embroidered image, so it's really nice. So anyway, go visit channelingericdoc.com and take a look at it. This project is very near and dear to my heart. And one of my greatest wishes is to get the story out to more people so we can help more people. And I want you to go and see the trailer that's on the channelingericdoc.com. It's so moving. It's so powerful. It was my first reaction. It was a gut punch. Um, but it says it all. So look at the trailer and let me know what you think. Thank you, guys. Welcome, beautiful people. We've got the wonderful Ginger Bailey, who has so kindly agreed to do part 3 of Marduk. And we have our beautiful boy, Erik, who's on the other side, not of the screen, but of the other side of the veil. If you guys want to connect, and you will after this video, connect with Ginger, you'll see her name, her information across the screen, and it will always be in the description box if you miss it. I really encourage you to stop and look at part 1 and part 2 of this Marduk series. But I also encourage you, because I don't want Erik to have to haunt you, to hit the like button and subscribe. I'm just kidding, but he might. He doesn't
No, but
want that.
as soon as you said that, he put his sheet on. He's so
Uh,
funny. He like, I'll look over and he just like gets me every time. And he says, "I love you, Mom.
I
I
love
love you."
you. Casper the Friendly Ghost.
Yeah, yeah. He's so funny.
All right. Marduk, are you here? Yes.
He is here. And before we go to a question, I want to tell you something he's showing me. This was interesting this morning before we came on. He was showing me that he has some kind of like headdress thing that, and I seen this last time, but it was really like light. Like I see light around it, but he's
Oh,
showing me more detail where there's like these horns or something that come off of
whoa.
it. And that might be the reason why people, maybe the thing got started about him being like maybe Satan, or remember, there I think there were some questions about that, but he wanted to clear that up, I guess. So he was talking about he's showing me these horns, and it's part
What
of a
are those?
headdress.
Oh, just
It's just
what?
part of his headdress, like an Indian maybe would wear like a headdress. It's just
But it's not like
it's just a
antenna
belief
or
system.
something to help
No,
him.
no, it's just a headdress. It's just a something he wore.
Everything means
Um,
something, though.
yeah, but he's saying that this was just his belief system. He's saying
Oh,
it's a
okay.
belief system. It had to do with the belief system. And but it's not like it meant like
Is it like this? Of course, this is a man-made thing, so it could be
it
inaccurate.
had two. It has two that I see.
They
There's
have two
two,
little bubble things.
like a oh, I couldn't see then. It
Yeah,
looked
it's
like
hard to
one
see.
was in the middle. So it's almost like the power. Oh, okay. He says power. Power. It's
Oh,
empowering to have the two horns like a bull or a ram,
oh, wow.
or
There's so many pictures of him.
there's like
Okay, that's fine.
it's empowering, he said.
Okay.
Um
Thank you for that explanation.
Yeah. And then another thing too, that Erik is talking about, and he agree they were talking about this, is the creation story. And I'm not sure if there were I can't remember if we had questions about it, maybe, but there's a creation story, like with a lot of
Yeah.
religions, like how the world got created, and then
Genesis and
how
everything, and the
right,
Sumerian
right,
creation
right.
story. Yeah, Babylon.
And something that I noticed when we were talking about, and I'm getting it more, he's showing me more detail. I wanted to know more about this, but the location of the Lemurian place, okay, he was showing me. Now I know we talked about in the Ring of Fire, kind of over by
Right.
Japan and Hawaii. That is accurate, but he's also showing a little bit over. There were a couple different places where they were over underneath India in that
Okay.
area. Um, and Erik is saying like there's a lot of animals that are on different continents that wouldn't be there unless there was a landmass. So that's kind of like
Oh, wow.
showing that there was a landmass there, and
Yeah.
there is stuff under the water there if they look for it. Um, and then he was talking about the flood that they talk about in all kinds of religions, not just
Yes.
Christianity, but
Yeah. Yeah.
all the flood stories. Which which Erik is funny. He made a joke earlier. He said we should do like a video on the younger dryer, right? And or Dryas. Is that what it's called?
What is
Younger
that?
Dryas. Okay, now I feel stupid because I said it wrong. Yeah,
Well, I don't
younger
even know what it
Dryas.
is, so
It's
I'm
the
stupid.
ice age, the melting and the floods and all
Oh,
of that.
yeah. Right.
And then, and then he made a joke and he said it should be called the younger wettest. Yeah. And then I was like, or maybe the oldest wettest, because
Yeah.
instead of younger, it's
Eldest,
old.
youngest,
But
wettest.
anyway, we were joking about it. But that is kind of something, it's a big deal. It's a big deal. So I don't
Yeah.
know, just
I
something to
heard
think
that in
about.
Atlantis Rising that the Arcturians were warning through that book that we're going through the same thing, and the cataclysm in tens of thousands of years ago was because Mother Earth was reacting to the fact that Atlantis, and also I'm sure the aliens too, were reacting to the Atlanteans getting narcissistic power and greedy for power, but also creating weapons of mass destructions, etc. So I don't know.
Right. And a little bit of that. Now, Lemurians were more of a spiritual people, not so much like the technology, even though they had technology,
Right.
but it
Yeah, I
wasn't like that
remember
was their
we talked
thing.
about that. Right.
Yeah. But they also were a part of this. It was, I don't think it was the same because there's different timelines, but they were a
Okay.
part of something that happened with the earth, with Mother Earth,
Okay.
that changed their land and dropped their land in the water and
Okay.
flooded. It was like the shifting. But anyway, I thought that was interesting.
It is.
So you
Well, do
know,
you always go by the name Amun Ra? And when humans pray and say Amen, is that their way of worshiping you? Amun Ra, Amen.
that is how it started.
That's
That
what
is
I
how it
think. Yeah.
started. The Amen,
Okay.
started. When he is Amen Ra, of course, that's what he goes by, Amen Ra. I think there becomes a confusion, Erik says, when he's been many gods.
Yeah. We talked about that, I think,
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
first, I think.
yeah,
All
it
right.
was.
I'm going to look this up, but while I do, I'll just read the question. Why was the Old Testament copied from Enuma Elish? First of all, was it even? I mean, let me see
Why
what
were
it is.
they?
Yeah, it's known as the Seven Tablets of Creation, a Babylonian creation myth that tells the story of how the universe, the world, and something. It says dot dot dot.
So it wasn't
Uh,
copied, he's saying. It wasn't copied. Now, this goes back again, which is interesting. We were just talking about this. That all
wait.
believe.
Marduk, let me read a little bit more. So it's known as the Seven Tablets of Creation, a Babylonian creation myth that tells the story of how the universe, world, and humanity came to be. The epic, written on seven clay tablets, is thought to have been composed before 1750 BCE and is considered a masterpiece of Mesopotamian literature. The story centers around a battle between Marduk, the champion of the younger gods, and Tiamat, the leader of the elder gods. Okay, that's it. Shut
So if
up.
anything, now it was asking why it was copied from what?
Yeah.
Like why the
Why the
creation
Old
story in
Testament?
Genesis? Yeah.
Why was the
So
Old Testament copied from Enuma
the Old
Elish?
Testament wasn't copied. If anything, the Old Testament would have copied that because it was
Okay.
older.
Yeah.
And there's timelines that they have in
Yeah, that's
history
what they're
about our
saying.
history that are
The
way
old
off.
they said that Old Testament was copied from Enuma Elish.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Okay.
he's saying though that this is not all of it was. He's saying that some of those parts and ideals, he's doing it like this, ideals were carried over from those belief systems.
Okay.
But a lot of it was channeled, he
Oh,
said. So that's why you get a lot of the same stories, even though people don't connect. Like there's
yeah.
different civilizations that,
Yeah.
aren't connecting, that you have the
Telepathy,
same
channeling.
stories because they are channeled. Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It is said that our souls chose to come to Earth in order to learn and grow. If you and your father genetically modified humans, why do our souls want to be slaves to aliens and repeat the reincarnation process? Ooh, that's a good one.
So he's saying that they're not, he says, did you say something about recycled souls?
Well,
Recycled souls?
reincarnation. Why do our souls want to be slaves to aliens and repeat the reincarnation process?
Okay.
That's
All
a
right.
two-part
Okay.
question.
Okay. So what he's saying is that he's trying to clear this up. So it's not so much slaves, because slaves don't have their, and I think we mentioned this earlier, but it wasn't because of a question. Slaves, if you're enslaved, you don't have free will, you don't have choice, you don't have freedom.
Right.
So he's saying that people were honored to help them. It was like an honor to help the gods.
Good.
And that this is written a certain way because of the way it was in when man interpreted the writings. Some of
Okay.
those writings sometimes are misinterpreted, like
Yes.
Egyptian writing or the Babylonian writing
Yeah.
and Mesopotamia. How do you say that? I never say it right. Mesopotamia. Yeah,
Mesopotamia.
Yeah,
It's hard to say.
it is.
So why do we want to
Uh,
repeat the reincarnation? Oh, go ahead.
so what he's saying is that um, it was interpreted that way. They weren't enslaved, and they were given the planet as a gift. They
Hmm.
looked at it that way, as the planet was given to them as a gift. So they weren't created to just be enslaved to do things for them. And some of this was the mythology, he's saying.
Okay.
Some of the stories were mythology, and
Okay.
some are real. And then what were you asking me? Why?
Why do we want to repeat the reincarnation process? I guess it's just part of the human
So
experience, right? We all know that.
yeah, right. So you don't have to. This
No,
is a
you don't have to.
choice.
We want to.
Yeah, this is
Okay.
yeah, we want to. And here's why too. I'll just tell you really quick, is because Erik says if you could see the end result of what you would become from what
Yeah.
you go through, you would choose it over and over again,
Oh,
no matter
yeah.
how awful it is.
Absolutely. It is said that the Anunnaki created bloodlines to rule humans on their behalf, and that families are still in control today. Can you name families that are ruling over planet Earth through your bloodlines? Is it like royalty, the royals?
Yeah, there's royalty, there's so many. There's not just a
The
few.
Bilderberg complex people, the power elite, things like that.
Yeah, people
The
that are in power,
Bakers.
people
Yeah.
people that are in power, people that have the power to change, he says. So I'm
Okay.
not getting names,
No,
but
you don't
what
want
he's
to.
showing me is that the people that have the power to change
Yeah.
without resistance is how he's putting it.
What about
Yeah.
Trump? Is he from your line? I heard that he was Anunnaki when we talked about him before.
He said yes. He
Okay.
said
All
yes.
right.
There's some
Oh yeah, I did. I
lineage
saw
there.
him
There's
later.
lineage there. Now,
No,
they
I
put
don't
their
read comments,
DNA.
people, so
Yeah,
stop.
so I want to clear something up. It's not so much because this is going to be conflicting. So it's not so much they put their DNA of the Anunnaki, because remember that would make a demigod.
Yeah, right. That's right.
They put the DNA in of the different genetic alien makeup.
Oh
So
yeah,
not all of us are
the
from the
junk DNA
same.
and stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Okay.
Exactly. Yeah.
What amazes you most about humanity, Marduk?
He's saying it's capacity for compassion, love and creativity.
Collective. I think we did this already.
See, I think there was one that was similar. Positive change, he's saying that we can do through the acts of kindness. Um,
Like we're seeing now with the fires.
yeah, and the ability to find meaning through find meaning and purpose, right?
Yeah.
Find meaning and purpose through each other, he says.
Okay.
That's a big deal because not a lot of races are like us.
Yeah. That's right.
So, yeah.
Is it true that you created the zodiac, the heavenly bodies, and the sun god Ra with the remains of Tiamat's body? Interesting.
Did he create the sun god Ra when he was
And
on
the
the Ra?
zodiac and the heavenly bodies.
Yeah, when he was on Ra, not
Okay.
Marduk. But Marduk also had a part in it too.
Okay.
So okay, Erik. Erik's like, we all are creators. We all have created the stars, the sky, the universe. We're all a part of it, he says. The collective, on a collective level. This planet right here wouldn't even exist except for we created it. It's
True.
something that's made with your mind. Um, so if everybody He's so funny. He says, if everybody just stopped thinking about the earth right now, would it disappear? He's making a joke. Yeah. He's like, but it's kind of crazy to think about that is
Yeah.
how it's created. He says that it is all created with thought.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
like in heaven. I asked you a long time ago, say you guys want to hang out on a beautiful beach. Do you create that and say it's created by the collective of every spirit that wants to be on the beach. And as soon as they stop thinking about it and go on to something else, then it disappears. Whoosh.
Right. It's quicker
So you
without the
did,
physical body.
so
Yeah.
you did create the zodiac, heavenly bodies, and sun god with Tiamat's remains. Is that true?
Yeah, and so this is a story that TMS is not really like a person so
Um,
much. There is an energy to this, like God is source, but not a person. So
yeah.
there is an energy to this, and it's kind of like the way they told the story. So part of it is the story of the way they told it. He's showing me like a split between earth and heaven. So
Yeah.
it's how the story was told to understand it in their way, just like we understand the Big Bang and we
Yeah.
understand that God, they say God made, I don't know the story completely from Genesis, but something about made it in 7 days or six
Yeah.
days and rest on the seventh, something like
Overachiever.
that. Right. So it's something like that, but all of us were involved, but that was their story, their belief, but he
Yeah.
did have a big part in it, yes.
It's almost like you're saying the energy, TMS body is energy, and that energy
Yes.
can be manipulated to thought creating reality. Your
Right.
thought, for example, to create these things that we just mentioned.
Right. It's an energy. It's not a person, it's an energy or even an alien. Yeah.
Okay, the Enuma Elish is I like that name. It's similar to the Genesis creation story of the earth. Did you, Marduk, create earth? And why in the book of Genesis in the Bible does it say God or Elohim creates the heavens and earth? Can you clarify this discrepancy? And,
Because
and who in this and who in this passage is God?
okay, so first of all, God is source and we all are from God. The way Erik puts it is we're all unique expressions of source energy, is how he puts it.
Yeah.
And when it comes to who created it, again, it's back to all of us. But with different civilizations, they have to have a belief system to
Yeah.
create, peace. I mean, you have to be civilized. That's where the word
Yeah.
civilized comes in,
And
right?
to have
Uh,
understanding about things
and
that is hard to
understanding
understand.
and hope and belief in something bigger than ourselves. So, although we all come from extensions of God,
Right.
okay, source, however you want to call it,
Yeah.
um, everybody had a part in it, and that's how it's explained. But in their time, the people that believed in him, that's how they seen him as the God. They didn't see
Okay.
beyond that. They didn't see beyond him as God's source. This is the way they perceived their
Okay.
God. So that's why.
I want everybody, if you can, just put how you define God. That would be very interesting to see. And
Yeah.
hopefully, when I read those, I won't come across some nasty things. Please delete those.
Be
They're
nice.
very damaging to me.
Remember, whatever you put out, you get back more
That's true.
of.
All right. So, did you create? Are you the Marduk of the Genesis that created the heavens and earth? Then, even if it's just manipulating energy along with us. to create these
Part
things?
of it, part of it,
Okay.
part of it. Not the only, not the only individual, but
Oh.
part of it. Yeah, a big part of it. Yes. Yeah.
Which astrology is more accurate, Vedic astrology or Western tropical? Hmm.
The one with a V.
Vedic, yeah.
Yeah, it's
That
more.
came to me too, although I'm not sure what it is. I'm gonna look it up and
Um,
ask the next
I,
question.
I don't either. It's a certain way of looking at it, a certain perspective, a certain way that it's described, taught. Yeah.
Okay, well, let me read. Vedic
Okay.
astrology is an ancient Indian system of astrology that is based on the Vedas, the oldest sacred text of Hinduism. It is also known as, I'm not going to even say that, Sanskrit word that means science of light. Vedic astrology is based on the idea that the positions of celestial bodies, such as planets and stars, have a significant influence on human lives. It's used to predict the future, understand personality, aid decision making, uncover cosmic destinies, understand karma, etc., etc. So, yeah, it differs from Western astrology and how the planet's locations are tracked. Vedic astrology uses stars or constellations to track planets, while Western astrology uses the position of the sun. Oh, that's fascinating. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
All
It
right,
is
let's see.
fascinating.
Are the Sumerian records correct in explaining the Anunnaki lineage and the story in regards to your ascension to power, Marduk?
Some of it is real and
Okay.
some of it is myth,
How much
is
is
what he's
real?
saying.
What percent is
Giving me about 50 something, 50%, 55, something like that. A little over
okay?
half is real.
Okay.
And then the other's myth in the way that their belief system is. Just
Yeah.
like I want to tell you this, Eric is showing me, he's like, every single religion you have, or every single belief system, doesn't have to be religion, belief system you have on this planet with every civilization that ever was, had some real to it, like because it was channeled. But then they form it and mold it into what works for them and their people, and what they need
And
in
legends,
that
like the legends of
time. Hmm.
dragons and unicorns and all that. A lot of that's true because it may be interdimensional beings. But
It is absolutely,
that's another
absolutely
topic.
true.
What was your relationship, Marduk, like with Thoth? Thoth, that's so hard to say. I felt like a
Thaw.
Spaniard.
I
Spaniard,
thaw him
Barcelona.
I thaw him the other day. I thaw.
During your time on Earth, and what is your relationship like with Thoth now? Sorry for being so difficult.
Sorry,
So
sorry.
sorry.
Um, I'm trying to see who this is with him. He's showing me. This is a good relationship, is what I'm
Okay.
hearing. They work together. They work
Okay.
together, empowering each other. This feels like it's more the Omnin Raw side, I think.
Oh, okay.
Is it THO? How
TH.
okay.
THOTH.
Okay, so he's showing me Omnin because like he's like these two people, but I mean he's more, but we're talking about these two, so it's kind of like he'll kind of switch a little bit in the way he looks.
Oh, wow.
So he's showing me that this was more on the Egyptian part, the
Okay.
Amun Ra.
Oh, yeah. Thoth
And
was the Egyptian god, while
oh, okay.
Marduk was the Babylonian god. Oh my God.
Okay.
You channeled that on one of these parts.
Yeah.
Awesome. See how good she
Yes.
is, man?
Yeah, thank you. You're so sweet.
You are, man.
Yeah, so this is somebody who he governed something about they governed Egypt together or
Okay.
like looked over Egypt together and it was a good relationship and it still is.
So
That's what I'm getting
Thoth
anyway.
was the, I just love saying that, Egyptian god of writing, the heavens and the stars, scribe of the gods, author of the works of science, religion, philosophy, and magic. Now, Marduk, and you said this too, you channeled this, is the Babylonian god of creation, justice, you said that, compassion, healing, and
Mm,
magic. You said all of
yeah.
it. Wow.
Um
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, oh yeah,
What else
that
is
was in
there?
the second one. That was in the second one, I think.
Okay.
Huh. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah,
Martin,
but
where are you right?
oh, I was just gonna say the other one, he's showing me like there's more than just those two. Like there's more
Yeah.
that work together, but they were very close.
Okay. Where are you right now? And what are you doing regarding humans and situations you left on planet Earth?
So some of the stories that were told about the way that they interpreted the stories, like maybe some things that he did that were awful, they were interpreted that way, but
Okay.
not necessarily the way it was interpreted. Okay.
Okay.
A lot of things that he did was for like humanity, to better humanity, to
Yeah.
teach humanity. Just like when people have hard times here and say, um, like the fires, things like that. Back in that time, they thought it was gods that did it, he's saying.
Yeah.
So a lot of things were blamed on them or described that way, like it, like it was that the gods that did it. So something he's saying is he does a lot of interacting not in just this planet but other planet with leaders
Oh,
of the
okay.
worlds to try to help, because he's not
Please,
somebody
yes.
who comes in as much like they did back then in those civilizations when they were first starting out.
Okay.
So he's showing me he didn't make a big appearance all the time back then either.
You did not?
Mm-mm. No,
Okay. I'm
no.
going to write down a reminder. Because, guys, you need to subscribe right now because we're going to do a mind probe on environmentalist groups and the fire. All right. So, Bashar, anyway, says the Anunnaki were never supposed to have created mankind nor lord over them as gods. First of all, this is kind of a long question. Is that true, Marduk or Amun-Ra? That you were really not supposed to have created them? Us?
He's saying no to this. He's saying no, this was a
I have
misunderstanding, a
found Bashar to be
misconception.
wrong on so many, well, not so many things, but some things, you know? He's
What,
got
who is
perfect
it? Who is
channels.
it?
Bashar, the bald
Oh, is it a
guy.
channel or something?
Yeah,
Oh,
I think he's a
yeah.
multi, I'm not really sure.
Yeah, he's
He has
saying no,
he
but
has a lot of wisdom though. Cool stuff.
yeah, and it's not that it's not, it's the way it's portrayed. Like these are stories that have been told and misunderstood. He's saying misunderstood
Yeah,
is
whisper
how he's
down the
saying it.
alley kind of thing. It changed
Right,
the other day.
right, right.
All right, therefore, okay, so therefore you were recalled from Earth to go back home, but were tasked with guiding humanity to evolve as a result. Well, anyway, you're not called back because you were never supposed to do this, but now are you tasked with guiding humanity
This
to
is part of a
evolve?
story. This is part of a story. Both parts of this question. This is part of a belief system. You know how we were talking about how some of it is myth and some of it is reality.
Yeah,
This is part of the myth and it's not reality. So when he tells this, it's not
true.
yeah, it's not something that realistically happened. It's the story that was written.
All right. All right. So if it's true that you were called to go back to Earth, from Earth to your home planet and guide humanity to evolve, and if this is true, and if Anu, your supreme leader himself, signed off on what happened on Earth, then who recalled the Anunnaki and held you all to account? All right. So you just went
He
back.
actually
You
is
weren't
doing
recalled,
that.
right?
Yeah, he actually is doing that too. He's actually helping humanity. So it's kind of interesting that it's written that way. So see how you get some reality and some
Wow.
non-realities, because that's actually what he's doing. He actually is helping humanity from where he's at.
But it wasn't
Um,
like, get your ass back here. Look what you've done. You better fix that mess.
no,
No, no.
no, that's not how the spiritual
No.
plane works. No.
Do you, Marduk, consider your reign on Earth to have been for the best positive benefit of humanity, or was it just you playing a selfish territorial god over humans like the rest of the Anunnaki did for thousands of years? First of all, is it true that the Anunnaki were like that? Selfish territorial gods over?
There were some that were like that. There were. I want to say too, I don't remember if I said this in the first one, but he's not like somebody who dies and go to spirit. He's both. Like remember I
Mm,
think we talked about that. I can't
yeah.
remember, but it's not like okay, he reigned on earth and then he died and now he's in spirit.
Okay.
He's both always.
Okay.
Okay. And then the answer to your question.
Was Marduk, did you consider your reign on Earth to have been the best
Oh,
benefit for humanity?
okay. So listen here a second. Necessary. He's talking about necessary, and not that he was perfect. Okay, he's talking about not that he was perfect, but at the time it was necessary for a lot that went on, and a lot of things that came across negative. Okay, we have
Okay.
negativity in our lives now that is necessary. So a
Okay.
lot of things that
Of
were
course.
seen
Human
as
experience.
negative were still needed for the experience, the human experience.
All right, we better.
We wouldn't have a lot of our writings. We wouldn't have a lot of our civilized beliefs, our civilization belief, like being as civil people
Yeah.
beliefs, if we didn't have these first peoples. And that's talking about Sumerians, Babylonians, all of them,
Hey, when
the
did we
beginning.
start? Do you remember what time we started?
I we've been going for 44 minutes, but we talked probably for about 10.
Or yeah. All right, well,
Yeah.
let's go ahead and
Okay.
stop this and we'll go to part 4. Can you believe it? Not too many questions left, but we need to do it.
Yeah.
People don't have I don't have a long attention span. So you guys hit subscribe, hit the notification button, and please hit the like button too. See you in a little bit. Thank you, Marduk. Thank you, Eric. Thank you,
Thank
Ginger.
you.
Figure out in the description box.